All right, Nick, the Pittsburgh Steelers came out and made a statement this week. They're sticking with offensive coordinator Matt Canada. And obviously that means Kenny Pickett, Matt Canada are being paired up once again. And for better or for worse, that's just how it's going to be, until next year, until we go this song and dance once again this season for this foreseeable future. This will be the offensive coordinator quarterback pairing. And, I think that people are coming out and, saying their piece on this. And someone very important to the situation had also come out and spoken out against this and how they feel about it. And I think Steelers fans might want to listen what they have to say about this. But before we go forward, Nick, we got to ask the Steelers fans. So now you know who the OC is. You know who the QB1 is coming into next season. What weapons can you surround these guys to make this a better unit, to make a more cohesive unit? What would you like to see them pick up, whether it's through the draft or free agency? Let us know what kind of moves you want this team to make in the comments below. But Nick, who's this guy that's making a statement about the new OC?
Yeah, so you alluded to him, right? It's Kenny Pickett has come out and had some strong statements about Matt Canada. And it's one of those things you kind of mentioned it, Miles. It's no matter how you feel about Canada, and a lot of people, myself included, I know you feel very similarly, felt that Matt Canada deserved a lot of the blame of the Steelers' offensive dysfunction at times last season. And I frankly would have expected the Steelers to go in a different direction. They didn't. They stuck with Canada. But credit Kenny Pickett here because he went on the Pat McAfee show and basically outright endorsed Canada and said he's glad to have him back and thinks he's a really good coach. And I'm going to read through some of Pickett's quote on the McAfee show here for you. He said, quoting Pickett here, growing with him throughout the season, understanding how he likes to call plays in certain situations, all the time that we put in together that people don't see goes a long way. All the growth and maturity the offense had was a huge credit to him and the bye week bringing us together. Pickett went on to say during the interview, quote, I just appreciate the constant communication he had with myself. So, all right, Miles, obviously with Pickett here coming on the show like that, obviously Matt Canada, lightning rod for criticism. Most of Steelers fan base probably want him gone. Frankly, I haven't found one Pittsburgh Steelers fan that has wanted to keep him. Most of the NFL analysts thought he was gone as well, or at least deserved to be fired. But I think Pickett endorsing Canada here is a twofold really smart move by Pickett, whether he wanted Canada back or not. Because right now, all the question marks external to the organization, you better believe that's in the locker room too. There's a lot of questions outside of Matt Canada's a good OC. Those same questions are inside. By Pickett coming out publicly, going on the McAfee show and saying, hey, listen, I like Matt Canada. I think he's good at his job. Whether Pickett actually believes it or not, it gets the people in the locker room around him to believe it a little bit, which will help him trend in the right direction. And number two, Mice, anyone outside, any free agents, any potential trade guys that they want to bring into the fold in Pittsburgh, you better believe they've been hearing the rumors about Matt Canada, if he stinks or not. The fact that Pickett once again came out publicly and endorsed him gets some of these other guys to believe, okay, if I go to Pittsburgh, maybe the OC doesn't really stink. Maybe that's just the media overblowing out of proportion. Pickett's a good quarterback. I think maybe he knows what he's talking about. Maybe Canada's not so bad after all. Maybe the media is blowing that out of proportion. And that's what Pickett is doing here. And I think it's a really smart move and a sign of strong leadership here from Kenny Pickett. Give me your thoughts on this, Miles, and just everything with Pickett, Canada, and the Steelers offense going forward.
Yeah, no, I think it's interesting, Nick, because we can sit here all day and criticize Canada. That's very easy to do. So right now, I'm going to bring up some of the positives. And this is before the offensive coordinator not re-signing, but the continuing forward with him was decided upon. And Kenny Pickett went on teammate Cameron Hayward's podcast, Not Just Football, and he had some interesting things to say, Nick. And I think this really helps support the narrative that you're talking about how we need the outside world to view the Steelers team as functional, as there's no division in the locker room based on the offensive coordinator front if people want to come and play here. And here's what Pickett's comments were on that podcast. He said, in regards to Canada, he picks my brain on what I like and how I like it. Throughout the game, he's asking me to rank the plays that we run. He likes to see the game from the quarterback's point of view. He keeps things different. And I think we really caught a stride after the bye week, and we figured out what it took to win, what that recipe looks like, so we continue to grow as a team and grow as an offense. So that was a very interesting statement to me. I think Pickett maybe has found a little bit more confidence in Canada. They might have been a little stagnant, but he said after the bye week, they kind of caught their stride. And you can see that in the record of the team and the performance of the offense and Pickett's performance, quite frankly, Nick. And, he goes on to say that they need to take that jump into year two, meaning Pickett's year two. They need more explosive plays. And he says, he, as in Canada, is doing a great job of trying to figure out what they need to do to get those explosive plays, to get more points on the board. Sounds like Pickett they've figured it out, or they know what they need to do, whether they can go and execute that, but they've done that internal soul searching and figured out what needs to happen, Nick.
Hearing Pickett's words right there, especially on that conversation with Hayward on Hayward's podcast, you know what two words come to my mind, Mice? Franchise quarterback. Right. That's exactly what you want in your franchise quarterback, especially a young guy, being the right face of, representing the organization, correctly in public, being the face of the franchise. Because there's a lot of quarterbacks. Look, I'm a Cowboys fan. I'm a Cowboys fan my whole life. There's always so much drama with Dallas, whether it's position players, quarterback, coordinators, head coach, the owner, of course. The Pittsburgh Steelers seem to do everything the right way when it comes to organizationally, at least how they present themselves publicly, and I think internally too. Because most other teams, or a lot of other teams, if they would have had strife, even the Patriots, right? Everyone talks about the Patriots being so well run. There's been all kinds of stories about Mac Jones being mad at the offensive staff, and the offensive staff being mad at Mac Jones, and Belichick being mad at everybody. Instead, you look at the Steelers doing, once again, everything right, building it the right way and executing it the right way organizationally. Pickett says all the right things. They want to head in the right direction. He could have said something bad about Canada in public, or he could have just said something kind of middle of the road that would have made people think he didn't really want him back. Instead, he comes back full endorsement, full speed ahead, like you said, alluded to what they need to get better at. I think this shows to me that, one, the Steelers once again are one of the top run organizations in football, and two, that Kenny Pickett is the right franchise quarterback for this team going forward. I think this is a great sign for Pittsburgh going into the offseason.